Welcome back, my little recusants, to another episode of our Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix 100% guide. So, what's after happening here is we're after unlocking the time trial, and this basically needs you to finish the Hades Cup in 20 minutes. Now, I thought we would be able to do this. I mean, you're getting through certain rounds in like 3 seconds. But unfortunately, I failed the first time, and I failed a second time. So you're going to see a big level disparity, and that's basically because I'm after, going through this 50 rounds, multiple boss fights, multiple times. So we end up with a pretty big level jump by the time we finish up all these different failed attempts. And I'm just showing you that I'm like, okay, maybe Ragnarok will help, or maybe Ars Arcanum will help. Just trying to find some sort of way, some sort of combination of abilities that I can equip to win. And giving Donald a second chance, so now he's basically immortal. That's what I was kind of waiting for ages for him to get that back. And obviously putting on Tornado back on Goofy, big help there. And I put on Jackpot, and I actually go look to try and give Donald more AP, so we're able to give him Jackpot as well. Because, in a nutshell, Bambi with all 3 Jackpots is just crazy, crazy good. So I failed the first time, and I said, oh well look, I've more strength now, I've more, items now. We might be able to get through this another time. And what's frustrating is I literally get to like the second to last round. Like I get to the round just before Rock Titan each time. So I could get a fairly good way through all of the rounds. And unfortunately we do lose it twice. So eventually I'm like, righto, that's it. Let's just see if we can customize anything in Traverse Town and then continue on with our grind. So I literally went to Traverse Town. I ended up trying to search for shiny crystals, power crystals, just running around the second district, using the hotel as a kind of grinding spot to look for those items. So for example, when you're looking for lucid crystals and bright crystals, here is a really good spot because you encounter so many dark balls and defenders, just one after the other. So it's a good kind of combination of those two. And obviously with all the jackpots, we're getting tons of money from all these different encounters. So really good for us collecting Orichalcums, because now that we're in the post-game, we're able to actually buy Orichalcum from Huey, Dewey and Louie's shop. They cost 5,000 a piece, so they're not exactly cheap, but you can definitely go for a run around that area with Encounter Plus and get tons of money that way. Now for, again, lucid crystals and power crystals, you're going to want to just fight around the second district, because here is where your wyverns spawn in abundance, so it is super duper handy to chase after them here. And you're able to actually get back to the third district up, obviously, on the top of the roof. It leads us back into the third district where Donald and Goofy were, so you can run back that way as well. But obviously you're just trying your best to kill as many wyverns to get as many power crystals as you can. And we're getting really good EXP obviously as well, like that showed a big jump from our levels. And you can always get extra elixirs. You can get elixirs from wyverns, or you can get them from potentially the defenders. So always a useful few enemies to collect. And over here then is a big bounty of dark balls for your lucid crystals. You just may as well cast a thunder, see if something drops, And then 2 more wyverns here for some chance of an power crystal. Nothing yet, but you're going to have to go through this a good few times. And then you can run into the hotel, which will then respawn all those enemies in the second district if you want. And the hotel is handy purely because there's so little room for wizards particularly that wizards can kind of teleport all over the place. So it's just good to kind of chase them down, you know? And of course we're still hunting down the wizards for Donald's heartless weapon. So we're hoping to get that soon. But as I say, always good for shiny crystals. And because we're obviously getting so many different bits of money, because we've entered the post-game, Huey, Dewey and Louie get the best buyable items in the shop. And obviously we need to get all of Donald and Goofy's weapons, so we need the wisdom staff now, and make sure you're picking up all the other ones. You need to basically see one in stock for all these different items to make sure that when we get his final shield and final staff, we're going to get those 2 trophies. And then obviously I'm there like, oh, well I have 12,000, so I might as well just buy 2 Orichalcum and just get, you know, some more. Can never have too many. But with that, I'm going to show you guys another handy grind spot for being able to collect lucid crystals. So if you drop into the library, we're able to go out on the 2nd floor and start the fight in the Grand Hall. And if you use Bambi in Hollow Bastion, his basic drop after 3 goes of his bar being filled has a basic chance of dropping lucid gems, but a rare chance of dropping lucid crystals. And instead of farming dark balls for like a very low chance, I would much rather fight enemies we need to farm anyway, but have just a higher chance of getting lucid crystals anyway. And as you can see, the power of the summoning and the fact that we have jackpot boosting Bambi's MP orbs are just so numerous that we literally have infinite magic. Even at our high level of MP, we're literally at max MP. So we got a lucid gem there, very nice. And once you've gone around the full circle, you can then drop down to the lower level. And as I say, this is the better of the 2 versions purely because, and we got a lucid crystal there. But basically, if you end up with the spawn rate with the rarer stealth soldiers, you can end up in a bit of trouble because the stealth soldiers just take way longer to take out. But you get a chance to collect energy stones, so you're kind of trading your chance to either get more energy stones or get lucid crystals. And as I say, another big jump there from Bambi. But nothing yet, unfortunately. Let's get ourselves that wizard. Come on. Oh. Now. Thunder away the large body. And then with another go of thunder. And that's one thing I will say. Don't trigger 6 kills too quickly with Bambi. Because you saw in the very last one, I triggered another 6, but he didn't actually get the jump because he just finished a jump. So sometimes that can happen with its animation. But I just show you a quick clip here of where I'm like, okay, let's just do this all again. And we end up with a stealth soldier spawn. So really what I should have had up was like Eroga straight away, stop on my shortcuts, but what can you do? But you can get like a bunch of stealth soldiers here, so it can be really lucrative to you getting a bunch of energy stones. But they hit really hard as well, so like be careful. But as you can see with Bambi, like you can just start spamming stop, which I should have been doing a lot more of. Because we've infinite MP. But yeah, it's just hard. It's because the soldiers are just so hard to stop and so hard to like take down, especially when you're on your own because you've summoned Bambi. Like you're not going to be getting lucid crystals whenever you spawn the stealth soldiers, but you can have your best chance at getting your energy stones. So it's just getting your gravity out. Because gravity's actually really good against them. It kind of flattens them out and they can't really run around. And we get 2 energy stones there. So that's pretty good. But just to let you guys know, Hollow Bastion is a place that we can use Bambi to get lucid crystals more easily. The final area now is the one secret heartless that I didn't show you because I said, oh, it's only easier when you get Eroga. So you're going to basically head over to Oogie Boogie's manor and we're going to try and summon the Chimera again. You'll recall that I basically explained that you need to reflect the little balls that he bounces out of his body from his second HP bar. Thunder. And essentially when you have Eroga, all you have to do is run gently into the balls as they float towards you and you will automatically reflect them back. So all you need to do is summon either Bambi or summon Genie, summon somebody that takes away Donald and Goofy essentially. But still let Sora move around freely. So you can't use Dumbo unfortunately. But with Bambi we can now have infinite Erogas and stuff, so we're fairly happy out. And all it takes is for us to make the experiment, or the Chimera I should say, just get his second HP bar there, and now that these are here we can just basically make them bounce back and auto reflect back, and once we get 9 tech hits we get an instant blazing stone. And basically this boss character is calculating all the times we ended up bouncing them back. Now the only problem, and I say problem, is that they bounce a lot more frequently when they are bouncing by the rock. So just be aware of that. But once he's kind of on the rock it's kind of tricky because he'll just keep summoning stuff. But if you can get him off the rock when the balls start, you are in a lot better of a situation. Because once they're on the ground, you can just kind of hop near him and then start reflecting them back again. And we get another 2. So just a handy way to get more of those blazing stones. And now, with pretty much all of that stuff finalized, we're going to hop over to our final world. Now, with our gummy ship the way it is, we're not in any danger of anything bad happening. So we can literally just, with our shield and our bunch of lasers, just zoom along until we reach the final world. I love aesthetically how, you know, it was kind of going into the darkness, and then with the change to just the big purple landscape, it's like we've actually entered that little dark hole and we're now in the depths of darkness itself, where all the Heartless are nearly originating out of in their little gummy ships. And yeah, just keep firing your rockets, fire your lasers. Nothing to worry about, but in the next couple of episodes we're going to have to be starting to collect our trophies relating to the gummy ship, so I can assure you that I won't be trying to get every single gummy mission possible, because you don't need it for 100% of the trophies. And I'm just not very good at them, to be honest, so we're going to just basically have you with all the trophies in the trophy list. And with that we get a new trophy for completing all of the different gummy routes. And now that we're in the end of the world, spoiler, we have it in the top right. And one funny thing is that the music doesn't seem to cut in. I've noticed that, whether it's the port, but normally the music would start as soon as the title card comes, but it doesn't.
Gorge, is that all that's left of the worlds taken by the Heartless? Those worlds will be restored if we beat Ansem, right?
You betcha!
But if we do beat him, and all these worlds become restored and disconnected, what's gonna happen to this place? And to us?
Well,
This is a heartless world, so maybe it'll just disappear.
huh?
But no worries. Even if this place goes poof, our hearts ain't going nowhere. I'm sure we'll find our pals again. Yep, I just know that we will. Yep.
Yeah, you're right. I'll return this. I promise.
And originally I thought if we just saved, it would give us back the music, but it doesn't. We end up getting another trophy for completing the story chronicles. So that's basically going through and getting every single story update across all the different parts of Jiminy's journal. So that includes, you know, getting to Olympus and doing the Hades Cup and doing all these extra bits and pieces. It updates Jiminy's log for each of the worlds. And essentially the chronicles is us going through the end of the world, and it's just basically saying we're resolved to go fight Ansem. So we're going to the heart of the heartless world. That no matter how deep in the darkness we go, there will be a light at its end. But thankfully we don't have to go through a musicless world. The battle theme rages on, and we are fighting the Invisibles outside of the arena. But this is their world, and it is these enemies that we are going to have to defeat to collect those Gales, are one of our last synthesis items to hunt for. And yeah, we get the amazing music from the tutorial, and like the dive to the heart where Sora was on all the stained glass princesses. And we basically can go along here and collect all these various treasure chests. Some are useful, some are pretty useless. Like, we end up getting like a pretty stone as a reward. Like, how insulting. But what's interesting about these particular Heartlesses, at the end of the world, there's actually very few areas that spawn the end of the world Heartless. We have like a Heartless gauntlet, rather, at the end of the world. But like, the actual places you can encounter Invisibles and Angel Stars outside of the Colosseum where they can actually drop loot is incredibly minor. There's very, very few places, aside from these balls of darkness that fall down and these random treasure chests that explode to be a contained ball of darkness. Like a Final Fantasy, or a D&D I should say, Mimic. Well, no, Final Fantasy had Mimics too. But as you can see, we can end up fighting behemoths, and then I mess up and I accidentally cast like stop twice like a silly Billy. And then I'm like, Genie, can you do this? But like, the music is epic. The behemoths can actually drop items when you encounter them in this mode. The blue ones are able to drop basically Omega Arts accessories, which are quite powerful, as well as Mithril shards, I believe. So long as we are able to get through with Genie doing his showtime, we have to basically wait till the horn isn't brimming with blue energy, because he's essentially immune to magic while the horn glows. And a nice level up for Sora. And in this raining of goods, we can actually get an Omega Arts accessory or like Mithril, so they are quite good to kind of farm. And basically, whenever you get to the end of this area, when you get to that kind of glowing blue gate, you are able to fight another behemoth every time, basically. So they are repeatable. But what we really want to fight are the angel stars, because we want those and the invisibles. We want to basically get a bunch of Gale. And it's quite tricky to get. Yeah, as you can see, no drops there, so it's a bit of a pain. But I like the complete desolation of this world. Like, it feels so empty. And what I'm not showing is actually you have to go in these particular directions following the stone, like where they're pointing, because there's actually invisible barriers all along this entire area. So even though you might think, oh, I can just run straight ahead, you're just going to run into an invisible barrier. Kind of like alluding to the invisible walls that divided the worlds. It's like, even though this is a heartless world, that the only reason they're able to travel and destroy the world is because those invisible walls are broken. Yet in their home world, they are, you know, surrounded by invisible walls that we can't just simply take the path of least resistance. And there's also a nice kind of symbology that even on the little tiny pieces of worlds long destroyed, they're all just giving Sora the guidance, pointing him in the right direction so that they can be saved by him and restored, you know? So just following the little directions, getting through to all the different treasure chests that we can. And as I say, no matter whether it's a treasure chest or a chance to fight more enemies, either one is a treasure. Even more of a treasure when we get rare drops. But even if we don't get rare drops, we get experience. But yeah, like, we're kind of at the end game. It's so weird to kind of be at this point in the game. I remember way back when we were like on Destiny Islands hunting for like mushrooms and coconuts, and we're now just at the end game with like tons of MP and my favorite Keyblade and Donald and Goofy just looking stacked with their HP and MP respectively. It's just pretty good. And essentially, next episode is going to be us going a bit further into the end of the world, but not going all the way to the end. And once that's done, we're going to be doing a montage of super bosses to get all the different entries and different Keyblade collectibles. So that's going to be super fun. But when you think about it, we've had like all the different summons, bar Genie and Tinkerbell, but like we've like Simba and Mushu, like all their worlds are just scattered and destroyed here. The Hearts have already gotten to their worlds, and you know, we're now here to kind of restore them back to light. But with this going into that big blue gate, we end up getting summoned into a battle with another behemoth, and we're essentially able to move on to the next part of the end of the world through that. And gravity just destroys these guys, so it's going to be super quick. But that's pretty much going to be our episode, guys. We're going to finish once we move on to the next part of the end of the world. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment with your thoughts on the series so far. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Have a good one.